For the last 12 months, I have been working on completing my Girl Scout Gold Award project on emergency preparedness. I work to sew and donate over 300 face masks to local hospitals amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, and then created a digital escape room on Microsoft PowerPoint and gathered 3 experts to talk to my fellow Girl Scouts about being prepared for emergencies. And trust me, it was a lot harder to accomplish than it sounds. So I'm here to help you follow in my footsteps and provide all the advice and insight I can to completing your own Gold Award project. You're listening to A Better Place, a Girl Scout Gold Award project explained. I'm Serene Haroon. Before I dive into the specifics, I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. I am currently an ambassador in Troop 647 located in Northeast Texas. This is my 11th year as a Girl Scout. I am, however, not an expert in emergency preparedness. I did a lot of research to prepare my digital escape room and question and answer session, but I am not a professional. I have also not trained as a Gold Award liaison, so my advice is 100% not certified, but rather from my own experiences. Alright, so in today's episode, I will be discussing a general overview of my project and how I achieved success. So let's start with why I chose emergency preparedness as my topic. I have next to no experience in this field and have no plans to study it in the future. However, the COVID-19 pandemic placed an opportunity into my hands that I was not about to miss. America as a whole was unprepared for the disaster COVID-19 brought in its wake. In reference to my project, they did not have an adequate supply of personal protective equipment, or PPE, for all of the health workers in the country, so the responsibility became that of the public. About a month after COVID-19 was declared a national emergency, fabric stores began to run out of fabric and elastic, the 2 essential materials to make face masks. You see, someone somewhere came up with the idea of sewing their own face masks and donating them to hospitals that were in desperate need of PPE. And the idea spread like wildfire. So I decided to join the many people volunteering their time and money to assist those on the front lines. The first step after choosing my project was to submit a Gold Award proposal. I will not be going into detail on how to fill those out. I will leave that to the experts. I do advise, however, attending a Gold Award roundtable for information about the proposal and other paperwork involved in this process. Once that was complete, I went ahead and started figuring out the logistics of my project. Who would be my volunteers? How many would I need? How would I recruit them? Where would we get our supplies? Who would I donate my face masks to? I decided on donating to hospitals in the Dallas area only. I then called various hospitals and asked if they were willing to accept donations. I worked on creating a flyer that I could send out to my troop and fashion class at school, as well as post on social media. Then I went out and bought some fabric and elastic that I could provide to my volunteers. At first, it was extremely difficult to get anyone to be a volunteer in my project. They didn't have the time or didn't have adept sewing skills, but patiently I waited and they started to trickle in. I provided the materials to my volunteers along with videos and instructions on how I wanted the masks made, and we were on our way. I assigned each volunteer to make at least 15 masks and delivered them back to me, where I inspected each mask and placed them in a bag to be donated. When I had met my goal of 300 masks, my family organized a day to go and deliver them. I called up the hospitals once more to let them know I was coming, and we drove off. At each hospital, after donating the masks, I had the representative sign a slip of paper showing that the masks had successfully been delivered. When I got home that day, it hadn't yet sunk in that I had successfully made and donated over 300 face masks to local hospitals and actually made a difference in my community. But my project was far from over. The second phase of my project was making a digital escape room. In case you are unaware of the concept of escape rooms, it is basically a puzzle that you try to solve in order to escape a room that you are physically locked in. In the case of digital escape rooms, you are obviously not physically locked in the room, but by finding the clues and solving the puzzles, you can escape the metaphorical room. If you are familiar with Microsoft PowerPoint at all, you know that it is traditionally used to make slideshow presentations and are probably baffled that an escape room could even be designed using it. My argument for using it for this purpose is that PowerPoint is like my favorite t-shirt. It's hard to go a single week without wearing it. I've been using PowerPoint since I was in the 3rd grade, and frankly, my slideshows from back then look tacky to me now, but when you consider that it was an 8-year-old who designed them, it becomes less so. So it just seemed easier to me to use an application I considered myself an expert in than figuring out a completely new application. But I was wrong. There were things I hadn't yet discovered about my favorite t-shirt. So after doing extensive research on emergency preparedness, I deemed myself prepared to begin. I created a storyboard on how I wanted my escape room to look and ended up deciding on making 6 connected minigames that would metaphorically free the user from the locked room. I managed to fit in educational topics relating to emergency preparedness, like weather watches versus weather warnings, locating and stocking safe rooms, and fire safety, while also incorporating some fun. In order to achieve the look and feel of the game I desired, I dabbled into the universe of Visual Basic for Applications, or VBA code, and that, believe me, was an entire adventure on its own. Who knew that you could actually write and incorporate your own code into a PowerPoint presentation? While creating the escape room, I also contacted members of the local, state, and federal agencies that manage emergency preparedness to see if they were interested in being a part of a question and answer session I was putting together. I knew that my escape room would provide some basic information on emergency preparedness, but I wanted to give my participants an opportunity to ask any questions they had and clear up any confusion. Similar to the masks portion, I made another flyer and posted it everywhere I had access to. In the end, I had a total of 21 participants attend, along with 7 volunteers. I ended up using a video conferencing platform called Zoom to host the digital escape room and divided the participants into groups of 3, with 1 volunteer per group. The volunteer was responsible for answering any questions the participants had about the escape room and calling me over to their breakout room if they needed assistance. There were plenty of hiccups on the day of the event. However, I did my best to work through them and ensure that each participant could participate to the best of their ability. I set a timer for 20 minutes, and the first team to escape within that time limit won a small gift. After the escape room, my assembled panel answered the questions my participants posed. A large portion of the participants were shy about asking questions. However, I had anticipated this and provided each of the volunteers with a list of sample questions that they could ask in the dead time between the participants' questions. All in all, I think the event was a large success. I fall closer to an introvert on the introvert-extrovert spectrum, so leading a large group of people is nerve-wracking. But I found myself pretty calm before the event began. I realized that I had worked extremely hard to put this event together, and despite all the obstacles that came my way, I did my best. And at that very moment, there was absolutely nothing I could do to alter anything I had already made, so I just rolled with the punches and was largely satisfied with the event. I consider my Gold Award project a huge success. I worked many long nights putting something together that I could be proud of, while assisting and educating my community on the finer points of emergency preparedness. At the end of each episode, I would like to thank a specific person or group of people that I dedicate this episode to. Today, I'd like to thank Girl Scout Troop 08651 in Pearland, Texas, for making my Gold Award project their first meeting of the year and allowing me to become an honorary member of their troop. My project would not have been a success without you. In this episode, I mentioned a variety of materials I created for my project. You can see each of these materials for yourself at sereneharoon.com/abetterplace. That's SERENEHAROON.com/abetterplace, all one word. There, you can also find the rest of the episodes in the series, along with transcripts and extra resources and videos to assist you. If you have any additional questions, there's also a contact form you can fill out to reach me. Next time on A Better Place, I will be telling you all the details from the first portion of my project, the face masks. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.